like I said, this is 7 extensions for highly effective teaching. I can see you're all in my document, which is just great. So we'll just go right down the list. The first extension is the Nod extension. Hold on, I have some music playing in the background, so I could show you what it looks like, but I'm gonna have to mute it so I can.
Can I interject for a second? Are you going to show us what Kristen was talking about with the breakout groups? Is that at the end, or is that when? Because
You want that earlier rather than later?
Yeah, I don't want that to get away from us.
All right, let's do. All right, after Nod, I'll do because it's part of the Google Meeting and attendance. See it down there, number 4. I'll jump down to that one next.
Okay.
After this one. So Nod, the Nod extension, I find really useful. Now all the kids have to have it, and you have to have it, but it's easy. And what it does is it gives you some thumbs up and thumbs down and hand waving icons, right? It also gives a raise the hand feature. So you can, like I do it all the time when my kids aren't participating, or, you know, I'm waiting for an answer. I'm like, okay, how many people think, give me a thumbs up if you're still with me. And then when they click on it, so if you have it installed, if anybody has it installed, I just put a thumbs up there, and you can see it. If you install it, now you may have to like leave the meeting and come back in order for it to be active, but it puts a little bar up in your upper left-hand corner. It gives you a thumbs up and the hand raise, and the hand raise stays until it gets dismissed by someone. So like if a kid has a question, I always say, just put your hand up. Or if I'm, you know, how many people think that's the right answer? I make them all raise their hand, or so I can go through that and it doesn't disappear. The little icons, the little emojis, the hand wave, the clap, the thumbs up, thumbs down, they show up for like 5 seconds and then disappear, so they're not cluttering up your screen. But the hand raises will stay for the entire time. So that's the good one, especially for, you know, making sure your kids are still with you a little bit, or you know, they might not want to unmute and participate, but they will give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a wave or something, just to say, you know, that you're still there. So you can at least gauge that you still have those kids engaged by saying, okay, give me a thumbs up if you think it's A, give me a thumbs up if you think it's B, so that they can, you know, so that one works it's just simple and in the background.
Hey, Lee, real quick. So once I put this on my extension, because I opened it up in a separate Google Meet to see, and it's up there in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah.
The kids don't have to do anything on their end to make it show up. It's part of my extension.
They have to have it installed, or they won't see it. Like I gave you a couple thumbs up. You won't see it on your screen unless you have the extension installed. And everyone that has the extension installed will see it. So they'll all see, like somebody will see somebody put a thumbs up and some other people will start putting them up. So
so if you ask for the thumbs up, where do we go to put it up?
Do you see a little thing in your upper left-hand corner?
No.
Let me present my screen.
We would probably have to exit this meeting and then come back into it. If you
actually, all you have to do is just hit the refresh, and it'll like kick you out and kick you back in.
Oh, refresh. Okay.
So you might leave. So you see it? Can you see me up here in the upper left-hand corner? That's where it'll show up. So everybody's kind of refreshing their screen. Did it show up in the upper left-hand corner up here?
No.
It did for some people. It did for others. Sometimes it takes you actually. You have the extension enabled. You might not have it enabled. See, Natasha just gave me a stand near me. I gave a thumbs up. So sometimes.
How do you enable the extension?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you come up, like I have mine pinned up in the top.
Yeah.
If you go under the extensions, you'll see your whole list of extensions. So if you go down to Nod and click on it, I should have enabled it. Where's it going?
Do I have to click on Manage Extensions?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Manage
when you go over to Nod,
Mine says it's on.
Okay. Then you may have to refresh again. Sometimes it doesn't show up, and then if you refresh it, it will mysteriously just reappear.
Okay.
So we can give our kids this same website that you just gave us, and they'll all be
Yep.
able to download it.
Yes, matter of fact, one of my students told me about this. They said,
Really?
Mr. Spears, you should get this Nod. Yeah, I'm like, really? I'm like, this is great. Yeah. So yeah, it's actually one of my kids that that gave this to me. So they have it. They know about it. It's and if everybody's using it or more people are using it, it works really good. So if you have the Nod extension running now, you should be able to see the little nod, the little
So,
emoji I just put out there. You see it now,
Uh,
Jamie? Give me a thumbs up then if you see it. No, give me the thumbs up on the icon. There you go. See, then you just check everybody in. All right.
would this,
So people,
could
yeah,
we, wait, 1 second. Could we use this on GoGuardian too, or just Google Meet?
these are only
Just Google
Meet
Meet.
extensions as far as I know. Go Guardian. Well, Google Meet has promised to have a lot of these stuff as in part of their natural platform too, like the hand raise and the mute all. And so is Go Guardian. It's just a race as to when they'll get their coding done. But for
Okay.
now, these will work. We'll go.
Okay.
I think with all the trouble Go Guardian's having, they're lucky to keep their system running. So my bet is Google Meet will have it out before Go Guardian, but you never know.
Okay.
All right. So now I said I'd jump down to the Meet attendance and breakout room because that seems to be what everybody wants to do. So I'm still presenting, right? I should, right? Yeah. Yeah. So up here in the top, you'll see all my icons. This one up here, the attendance. That's that Meet attendance one. So if I show the list, I can hit a little refresh here. This gives me a list of everyone who's in the meeting. Right, so it's a quick way to take attendance if you forget. Oh, I see Heather just joined us. So let me refresh the list. Oh, look, and there she popped into the list. So that gives me a list of everyone who's in the meeting. So I can copy that list, paste it in a Google Doc, do whatever. So if I didn't get a chance to take attendance, I can do that. One thing that does is if I put this over into a, I just clicked on this show comparison list. So I got a list right now of everybody who's in the meeting. Nope, popped off of there. If I paste that over here, nope, I didn't copy it. Hold on. I thought I hit copy. I thought I hit copy list. I guess apparently I didn't. All right, so let's copy the list. Come over here and paste it. And now I got a list of everybody who was in the meeting. Later on, if I want to check like 5 minutes from now, I can come down and hit compare. And in the compare list, it'll check to make sure everybody that was originally in the meeting is still in the meeting. So you can tell if people cut out or left, you know, if they're in and out of the meeting, you can tell when they're in the meeting. You can do that at any time. Just hit compare and it'll compare your original list to who's in the meeting now.
But Spears, have you noticed any glitches with this? I have used this every day now when I'm on my Google Meet, and for some reason, it never shows all of the students.
I haven't. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got a list of everyone who's in here, right?
I
The other thing you can do.
I look at it every day, and it only shows like I don't know, like 6 kids in a class of like 30.
Do you hit this little button up here on the top that says refresh the list?
Yeah, like
So when I hit that, mine goes out and says it can't handle a refresh. I can get the beginning list and I cannot refresh
Yeah.
for the rest of the class.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe try to like
I'll have to check it out.
uninstall and reinstall it or something. I
Right.
don't know.
All right, so that's the list generator. So I'm going to hide that. So if you go down to the one below it that says Show Group Generator, that's going to give you, it's going to pop up this menu. And you can do it one of 2 ways. You can put number of users per group. So I can say I want groups of 3. or I could say, I want to create 4 groups, however you want to do it. So I will create, I'll create 3 groups. When I hit generate groups, it's going to generate this list of groups down here. So in group 1, it's got Matt, C, Kristen, Heather, and William. And in group 2, it's got a bunch of people. So then you can copy the groups. All right, before I do that, I'm also going to, I'm going to copy the groups. And then in the chat, I can post it, and it will tell you who's in group 1, who's in group 2, who's in group 3.
Nice.
Then when I go back to my group generator, if I get copy meet links, and I come back to the chat, I can then paste the meet links. So it has now created those 3 groups. Group 1 would go to meet 1, group 2 would go to meet group. So it just created those group lists for you. Now, remember in Google Classroom and Google Meet, you have to open those meets before the kids can go in them. So you have to open all 4 of those meets, or they're not going to be able to get in, which means you're also going to be in all 4 of those meets when they're in there.
But then those rooms will stay open forever, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But then once you close them, they can't go back into them. And then you could just keep using those for like the next class, or you can just regenerate them. And it just makes up these random codes at the end and opens up the meets. Okay. So there you go. It just random, or you could just have the meet list generated and not put up the kids and say, okay, you go in this one, you go in this one. So you can do it any way you want it, but that's just the way you can generate those meet rooms. So if I open up one of these meet rooms, yes, I know I'm presenting to everyone. See, it's going to open up the meet room for me. Now that I've got like 8 meet rooms going on here. So there, it just opened up my other meet room, and I've got my nod icons up there. And so anybody, you know what, let me be careful. Let me mute that in case
Feedback.
and let's see the video. So if anybody wants to go into meet room 1, they can go into meet room 1 now and hold their breakout session. So that's the breakout. Gwen, do you still have a question? Because I noticed your hand was raised. You have to unmute though, Gwen. All right. So that was actually number 4 on the list. I'll do the other attendance one real quick, just because it's right there on the list. So the other one is the meet attendance. That's this icon right next door to it. When you open that up, it brings this list here. It shows you the people in the chat. It's red right now. If I scroll down all the way to the bottom name on the list, it'll turn green. When I hit this little button right here that says add sheet, it's going to add to a Google sheet that I already created a list of everyone who is in the meeting. Okay, or you can create a new sheet. You can also take a snapshot of the chat of the people list of who is in the thing. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it to get that information. And again, it just goes into a Google Meet or into a Google Sheet. You can look at it later. It's there forever. Like I have my attendance for like every day. I try and remember to do it. I don't always remember to do it. It's funny though, because like once you start it, it'll check periodically every time I open the people tab and give me a count of who's there. Again, that's another nice one, and it puts it right into a Google Sheet. So I have them both running. I haven't decided which one I like the best. I'll probably stick with this one. I'll keep this one just so I can do the breakout rooms if I need to. They sometimes can be a little glitchy. Like sometimes the screen doesn't like to hide. You know, when I get to it, it pops down sometimes after I do some things. I go, it doesn't auto hide. I'm like, eh. So, all right, questions? Are those really questions, Natasha?
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
what, so if you have all those breakout rooms open, does it like crash or no?
I haven't had too much problem with like 4 breakout rooms going at once.
Okay.
I haven't gone much more over that, but I
Like,
mean,
would it
it could get
crash
the
on the
potential, right?
students'
The
end?
Chromebook. Well, no, because they'll only be in one meeting. They'll only be in 1 or 2.
Okay.
They'll be in your main one and your other one.
Okay.
So they should probably be okay unless they have unless they have a lot of people in that on one connection. Again, you might want them, if you're sure you're done with your main room, you might want to say just close the main room and stay in the breakout room. And if they want to come back to your main room, they can do that later.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I had a quick question. So in the attendance, when I was is it because I'm not running the meeting that I can't see the list of people in the room? Because it's telling me grid view is not detected to make sure I have Google Meet grid view.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you are absolutely correct. And my fault. I forgot to mention that. Up here in the corner, there's this. I should probably add that one to the list. Google Meet grid view. You do have to have that installed.
Okay.
And I thought pretty much everybody had that on their list.
So just install that extension and I should be good to go?
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay,
Spears, can you
perfect.
share that again? I'm sorry.
Sure. Up here on the top, it's called Google Meet Grid View. And it doesn't really show. It kind of shows up on this end screen over here. And you just have to have it enabled. I'll drop that in the chat real quick.
Is that in like the extensions, just like the other ones?
Yes, it's in the extensions, and it's one that's allowed as always. So I'll just drop that into the. I'll drop that in the chat so you have it.
Okay, thanks, Lee.
Yep. Can IT force the install of Nod? I would like them to, but I don't know if they're going to. I've asked that kind of thing. I wish they would, but I'm not sure they will.
They've been adamant about not pushing links for anything because I've asked for several myself, and they've said, nope, you can install them or have the kids install them, but we won't do it for you.
I know.
Wait,
especially the grid view one, but
like,
all right, let's go on. I'll do Moat. Now Moat works in any Google Chrome extension. I actually don't have it pinned up here. Let me find my Moat extension. So if I go to, and I'll just go to this, let me go to a document I have. And this is actually this is a document that I'm going to show you in a little bit. If I highlight something and I want to make a comment, come on. Running a little slow. Let's close that one. Oh, that just came up right after I quit. Trying to find my Google Classroom. Oh, I got it drug up over here in my other square. That's why you guys can't see it. Or I can't see it. So if I go into one of my classes, see this little icon down here? That's the Moat icon. If I click on the Moat icon, yeah, I got it already. Nope, apparently I've signed out of Moat. I think because I disabled it. Yes, I'm older than 18. Yes, I acknowledge, sign in with Google. Yeah, sign in with my school account. So now when I click the mode icon, it's going to let me start recording right here. You see it's counting down. And then when I'm done, it's going to create a link where they will actually be able to, whoever clicks on that link can go and hear my comments. So if you want to do comments on a paper or things like that, you can make the comments on the paper, and rather than having to type them all out, you can speak the comments rather than having to type them. So that's what Mote does.
Lee, where would we see the Mote icon if we were responding to like a paper or a Cami or something that they did?
It you know, now that I probably turned it back on, I turned it off because I found I wasn't using it a whole lot. I was just typing the things. Let me see if I go up under comment here, if it should come up. But when you hit the comment feature in a, like if you got a comment on a document, it'll show up right in the comment bar. Let me see, can you guys see this screen over here? Let me pull this down here so you can see it. So I just highlighted this right here, and when I hit the comment, one of the comments came right up with the click here to record. It just gives you the Mote icon right there, where whenever you can type something like in a comment or even a URL, sometimes it'll just open up that Mote icon for you to just click on and use that. Let's get rid of that.
Thanks, Lee.
Yep. I'm also going to close this other Meet room. All right, what's that leave me with? Oh, yes, Mute tab. Okay, so when you have 4 breakout rooms going, you're going to have noise all over the place. So what this Mute breakout tab does is it will give you, and you can see I've got all these recently noisy tabs. So if you had all of them playing at once, you can just, yeah, let's mute that one. So I can mute any and all tabs. You can mute background tabs. That'll mute every tab except the one you're currently in. You can mute all your tabs if the noise is just getting too much for you. There's all kinds of settings where things will automatically mute or not mute depending upon how you want them. This is one that I had requested from IT to have a mute tab. They made me go through and find one, so this was the best one I found out of like the 10 I looked at. So that's mute tabs. So you can just mute all the background tabs. If you have a bunch of breakout rooms going, you don't have to listen to them all at the same time, which I would highly recommend. Let's see, for those, just a couple of people just joined us. I should recopy the link and put it back into the chat. So there's a link to a document that we're looking at. What's next after? Meet Chat Transcriber. So in the Meet, one of these, here's my icon down here for the transcriber. I have it turned on. I turn it off. When you turn it on, anything that gets written in the chat gets put into a Google Doc. Okay, so everything that's been listed in this chat is going to show up in a Google Doc. Now I just closed it. Let me go find it. So in my drive, there's a, boy, when you're presenting to everyone, it doesn't like to move fast. There's a Meet Chat Transcribed. Didn't like that one. Where is it? Here we go. So sometimes it takes a couple minutes. So this was the one out of my science department chat. So that was all the chat that was going on in our science department meeting. Okay. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes for that to show up when you end the meeting, but it will capture everything that goes into the chat. Now the last one, Classroom Zoom, that is particularly for grading stuff in Google Docs. And I think it's a pretty cool little tool. So I'm going to just open that up for you. So what this does is there's a lot of data that's gathered in the Google Doc, like the revision history. They actually do a copyright or a plagiarism cut and paste check. All that stuff gets done automatically in Google Docs. It's just a pain to go through and dig out all that information. But what happens is in this mode, this classwork Zoom, it will go in. Let me pick one of my classes. Let me pick a student. Let's pick Maya. And let's pick an assignment. Let's pick this assignment because I know that one's one. So when I build the timeline of this assignment, it's going through every revision and every edit that was made on that document, and it's going to put it into a timeline so you can tell exactly how long this student worked on this assignment. So this was 43 minutes that they worked on this assignment total. I'm sorry, it's 1 hour and 34 minutes. This block was 43 minutes of it. So you can go back and look at every edit they made. These little red lines indicate where they may have done cutting and pasting in the document. So it's pretty slick. It just puts it all together in one. If you go for the paid version, you can do more than one student at a time or more than one assignment at a time. I'll just stick with the free version. So that's Classwork Zoom. Kind of takes all that data out of Google Docs and puts it in one place for you to look at. So that's all the ones that were on my list. So if anybody's got some questions, first thing I'm going to do, let me stop presenting.